Good morning, and thanks for joining us early on a Thursday morning. If you are returning from a previous webinar, welcome back. If this is your first webinar, welcome. I am Troy Thomas, Director of Business Development for EBSCOED, supporting the Alabama Talent Triad, and today's webinar is titled Understanding the Alabama Talent Triad for Local Education Agencies. And just really one main goal today is just understanding how your students and even their families can take the skills, credentials, experiences that they now have earned and learned and are in their wallets, and then can really create that skills-based resume that's going to be able to get them connected to jobs and learning opportunities. So it's kind of the full circle on I've learned these things, I've gotten skills. How's that going to get me connected to jobs? We'll also just do a quick recap for those who couldn't join the first webinar. And then I am going to jump into a live demo at the end to show you an actual syncing of a credential, how the skills that are associated with that credential populate in a wallet, and then also creating that skills-based resume and getting those job recommendations. All right, so the Alabama Talent Triad was created really for the state to help increase the skilled workforce across the state, but also to increase the learning labor force participation rate. The state really lags behind the national average, so just increasing that labor force participation rate by 1 percentage point as 50,000 credentialed Alabamians, or I'm sorry, 50,000 Alabamians back into the workforce. The state knew they also needed to really build that bridge between workforce and education, and by doing that, bringing kind of education training providers, students and job seekers, and employers kind of all together to collaborate. And ultimately, too, just to make all learning count and get people connected to job and learning opportunities based on the skills that they've earned. There are three pieces. It is a talent triad. So the main piece that we've been talking about is the digital wallet and LER component for students and job seekers. There is a skills-based job portal for employers. And then the final piece is the credential registry for all the education training providers across the state to put all their great programs, so certificates, licenses, credentials, degrees, and really unbundle those down to, unbundle those down to the skill level so that when someone earns one of those credentials, the skills that are associated with it also populate in their wallet. So how is it different than some of the other workforce solutions that are out on the market? How's it different from LinkedIn or Smart Resume? Well, one, it's not isolated solution. It is for every single Alabamian across the state. It's a statewide solution for every Alabamian and every employer across the state. So it's state funded, so it is free for everyone as well. Two, it really helps bring that transparency of what you have earned and learned by making skills that common denominator. Three is it's interoperating directly with the student information systems at the high schools, directly with training providers, directly with the community college system, and soon to be the four-year colleges as well. And that's a key differentiator because that's what really allows the Alabama Talent Triad to validate the student's credentials by operating directly with that student information system. Which is, like I mentioned, very different from LinkedIn, where everything is self-attested. Four is when you create a wallet in the Alabama Talent Triad, the students will be supported through retirement. So they don't have to create multiple wallets across multiple different platforms. This is a single source, single solution, centralized solution where they will be supported with their wallet through retirement. And then finally, by choosing EBSCO as their partner, we can continue to take feedback from employers, from students and job seekers, from education training providers and continue to make customizations and continue to improve the Alabama Talent Triad to make sure everyone's meeting their goals across the state. So like I mentioned on the last slide, the Alabama Talent Triad does interoperate directly with Power School at the high school, and that's so it can sync those validated credentials into the students' wallets. Again, that's a key differentiator for the Alabama Talent Triad. LERs, or Learning and Employment Records, are really what allow the students to create those kind of next-gen resumes that can really tell the full story of their educational career and all the experiences that they're getting, and take that to the next level, help interpret those and see how they align to different career pathways, and just really make it easier for employers to better understand as well. So they essentially bring to life what students have earned and learned and help keep them prepared for what's next. So by having that digital wallet, with their LER synced and their skills and that skills-based resume, they're always going to be prepared for that next step. If that's their first job, if that's finding a summer job, if that's just switching jobs because they're not happy with the one they're in, or God forbid the company they're working for goes out of business, they always need to be prepared. A statistic that I've come across is that new young folks that are newly entering the workforce will change jobs 12 to 16 times over their career. So being able to articulate what they know and can do and how their skills are transferable across industries is only becoming more and more important. So there is so many benefits to students and job seekers. One that is huge is with those learning and employment records synced, the students will be able to get personalized recommended career pathways based on the skills and experiences that are in their wallet. So it's going to look at what the student has earned and learned, and it's going to make recommendations to them based on that. And employers today are placing so much more emphasis on durable and soft skills as requirements for jobs. And those are skills like communication, leadership, critical thinking, problem solving, time management. Those are all skills that your students are getting from just the basic high school curriculum through their extracurricular activities, sports, clubs, co-ops. All the things that they're doing are getting them skills that they can put in their wallet that's ultimately going to get them connected to jobs. The Triad will also get recognition to them for the real world experiences that they're having. Like I just mentioned, they're doing so much today: the co-ops, internships, hybrid apprenticeships, on-the-job training. One example we've come across is this Pathways Professional Nursing Program in Birmingham. There's so many great programs like that across the state, and the students are getting real experiences with real skills that can match them to real jobs with real employers. So how can you be an advocate? Well, first off, you can just share the information and training materials. There are going to be links in this presentation to the training materials, so you can share that, but also share the impact and the value of the Alabama Talent Triad that it's going to bring to those students. Communicating that through the school is not only going to reach the students, but it's going to reach mom and dad. It's going to reach aunts and uncles, cousins, grandparents. Like I mentioned, this is a citizen level solution. So it is for every single Alabamian to create a wallet and get connected to jobs. There was an opt-in. So at the high school level, this is an opt-in. The opt-in is only so that they can get their credentials synced. So it's basically allowing the student to make that connection to Power School. Without the opt-in, the students can still create a wallet. They just won't be able to sync those credentials from Power School. And then finally, advocate to get the students signed up. Encourage them to create their wallets and sync their credentials. That's what's ultimately going to help get them connected to learning opportunities and job opportunities. All right, how does it work? So you can go to alabamatalenttriad.com or scan the QR code. It is built for any type of mobile platform or desktop, so you can access it from virtually anywhere. In the middle of the screen, once you go to the website, you should see a sign up. It's free button. That'll bring you to this screen right here where you will be asked to put in some basic information, first name, last name, email address, and then pick your username and password and click sign up. Once you have created your account, you will see over to the left-hand side a drop-down menu. There is one for your profile. You can fill in that basic information, and then in your wallet is where you can start then adding credentials. So you would click this Add Credentials button, and that's going to give you some different options for adding those credentials. So the one we've talked about that the opt-in will allow for is being able to sync from ALSDE, so from your high school, by putting in your student ID, and any completed courses or credentials that you have will automatically populate in your wallet, along with the skills that are associated with those. There's also many other ways to add those credentials. You can upload a picture of a credential. You can insert a URL. So if you've earned a digital badge through an online course, maybe you got sent a link to that badge, you can paste that in here and that'll show in your wallet as well. So lots of ways to add those credentials. And again, many ways to add credentials, even if you don't have that opt-in letter returned. All right, so skills, you can see that there are skills already populated in here. So this student had a credential in their wallet. These are the skills that are associated with that credential. You can see the nice little check mark, meaning that it is a validated skill. It is a skill that was associated with that credential in the credential registry. So it populated automatically in their wallet. You can also just add skills manually. So if you click the Add Skills button, you'll see a little pop-up screen that comes up, and you'll want to click the Add from Skills database, and you can just start typing and you'll see a whole list of skills that will show up from the skills database, and you just simply select those and then click Add to My Wallet, and those skills will populate in your wallet. The only difference is they will be self-attested skills as opposed to the validated skills. And then finally, you can also add experiences like those co-ops, extracurricular activities, volunteer work that you've done, anything that you think is important in telling the story that you want employers to know about your educational career and the experiences that you've had. All right, now that you've signed up for your account, you've created your wallet, you've started to add those credentials, skills, and experiences. Now you can come in and start to create or craft a skills-based resume that really tells the story that you want to share with employers. And maybe that's multiple different stories. So maybe you want to get recommendations for a couple different career paths. So you can create resumes that tell the story that you want to share and that are going to get you recommendations based on what you want to see. So to start, you would click Create Resume, and that's going to bring you to this screen right here. You'll be able to use, so I mentioned creating your profile. So where that comes into play is you'll be able to use that to auto-populate some information in the resume and other forms. But you can click this Fill from Profile, and then all this will automatically fill in. Then you can begin to start to easily add the skills and credentials from your wallet. So you just will click those and they will automatically populate over here. And we'll take a look at that in the live demo. You can also add any other supporting documents that you want to add or want to share. So like maybe you have a cover letter, a recommendation letter, or maybe even a portfolio that you have created. And then once you are finished with building your resume, you would click the publish and share resume. So that information is then shared with the recommendation engine to give you those personalized recommended career pathways and learning opportunities. And not only do you get those recommended to you, but also by sharing your resume, you will now actually the employers will you have enabled the ability for the employers to contact you and view your resume if they receive it as a recommended candidate. So that's another big difference between LinkedIn is and other job boards is that when employers post a job rec in the talent triad, is they get employees or job seekers recommended to them. So it's not a fishing expedition for them. They can actually then establish contact with the recommended employees or job seekers and start that process on their end. And then finally, once you've shared that resume out there, like I mentioned, you can then see those learning and job recommendations. You would come to recommended jobs down here in the menu on the left. You would click the resume and the drop down right here that you want to see those recommendations for. And we've chosen the CNA resume. And then you'll see the jobs will start to show for your recommendations. You can interact with those jobs. You can click the job to see more details. You'll see in the job posting how the employer wants you to apply if you so choose. So maybe that's going to their website, maybe that's directly through alabamatalenttriad.com, or you can also interact. So you can thumbs up, thumbs down jobs so the recommendation engine learns about what you're looking for. And then you can also bookmark jobs to save them for later. There's also an auto apply feature that students can turn on so that the Alabama Talent Triad can automatically apply to jobs that they choose. So if they have a particular resume, they can turn the auto apply feature on for that, and they will be automatically applied to jobs that are recommended for that resume. All right, I mentioned those training assets and support links. Here are some self-guided trainings for students, teachers, employers. There's also already an additional one that's been added for families. There's lots of tools. You'll see that down at the bottom of alabamatalenttriad.com. I'll show you where that's at. So thank you. Here's also a list of all our socials, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, where if you follow those, you'll get the most up-to-date information on new things happening in the Triad. All right, without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing the presentation and share my screen over here. So I am at alabamatalenttriad.com. You can see the sign up, it's free button. Here are the trainings that I mentioned: employer, student, family, teacher. All the webinars too that we've been doing over the last couple weeks will be right here as well if you ever want to watch a replay. There's tons of other resources and other tools that you can come and use and help find, and I'll go through a few of those as well. If you know someone in your school district or that is a case manager, or career coach, or counselor, they can come in after they create their account also and can sign up as a career coach, and that will allow them to create wallets for students that they're working with, and then they can hand that wallet off to them and help them build that wallet with the skills and credentials that are needed for them. So that's another tool that's in here as well. We're going to go ahead and log in here as a student. All right, so you can see I mentioned here about the profile. This student already has her profile all filled out. We'll come back up to her My LER, and we are under credentials. So we're going to add a credential here. So you can see it provides us with a drop-down list. I also mentioned upload, embed, and link, so there's multiple other ways. We're going to choose Alabama State Department of Education, Career and Technical Education. And we are going to sync a credential that this student has earned. And again, this is just a demo account. You can see it synced. So Sheridan has earned her certification, her certified nursing assistant certification, which is now populated and shows as a validated credential. If we come over to her skills as well, you can see that the skills that are associated with that credential in the registry also populated. So measures and records manual blood pressure, provides mouth care, all kinds of different skills that populated and are validated skills. You can also come in and add skills manually. So let's just say, problem solving skills, let's say troubleshoot control systems. So let's just, as an example, add this one. But again, you can type anything and you would then choose add skills. And we can come down here and see troubleshoots control systems. But the main differentiator here is that that one is a self-attested skill as opposed to these others that are validated skills in her wallet. And then finally, you can also add those experiences. Here's one that Sheridan has added to her wallet. You can also click add experience and choose to add, like I mentioned, volunteering, co-ops, any type of activities or experiences that you deem are going to be important enough to share with employers. So once your LER is built with the credentials and skills that you think are appropriate, you can now come to the resume builder, which is where you can craft a resume. So you can, like I mentioned, have multiple different resumes. You can come to the create resume, fill from profile. So it's going to automatically populate the information from your profile. If you scroll down here, you'll see her credentials. So, we want to create a CNA. It's going to automatically check mark all of the skills that are associated with that CNA credential. If you want to add that experience, that's also going to, and then here's where you can add supporting documents. If we then wanted to publish and share that out to then be recommended jobs for that, we would click this publish and share resume. There is already a CNA resume in here, so we're going to take a look at that one. But you can see Sheridan's resumes kind of tell the story of her educational career. She got her CNA certification through CTE classes, then maybe went back and said, maybe I want to get my phlebotomy certification. So then she created a phlebotomy resume. And maybe now she's back in school going back for her nursing degree. So she wants to create a nursing focused resume to then start to see, what potential matches are going to be out there for a nurse. We can then come under the recommended jobs. Again, you'll want to click the choose resume to see particular jobs that are associated with the resume you're looking for. So we're going to stick with the CNA resume. You'll see it's churning up here. So this to get those recommendations sometimes takes a few seconds here. But you can see there are lots of jobs that are populating here. Like I mentioned, you can click a job, You can see more information about the job details, the skills that are associated with it. You can also see how that company, what's their preferred method for you applying to that position. So this one is on or through the company website. Thumbs up, thumbs down jobs. You can bookmark a job to save it for later. So all those things are only going to inform the recommender more about you to make recommendations that are going to better suit you. So I mentioned as well some other tools that are going to benefit the students. One is there's other resources down here. So we're at the bottom of alabamatalenttriad.com. Under resources, students can also search for scholarships that might be available. So those are currently categorized by related job sector. So we could expand one of those to see which scholarships are in there. You know, apply here, or you can click the scholarship to see more information about that. So just one of the other tools within the Alabama Talent Triad. You can also find apprenticeship sponsors. So if the student is very interested in a particular apprenticeship, you can come in here and search for those. So these are right now categorized by area. Let's see if we open one here. You know, so you're going to be able to see different apprenticeships by areas. And again, you can click the apprenticeship sponsor to find out more information and make contact with them to see what might be available. There's also an occupation explorer. So this is a good way for students to know kind of, you know, if they're looking to get in a job immediately, or, you know, some jobs are going to take a lot more education and or training. So this will kind of has them ranked or categorized by, you know, little to no preparation or extensive preparation needed. So we can come in here and see, you know, an anesthesiologist obviously is probably going to take a lot of education, med school. So this is going to take us out to an ONET website, and you can scroll down and you can see it's going to tell you the education that's needed, all the different type of work activities that could be expected. So it's just a good way for students to come in and look at different jobs and the preparation or education that's needed for those. So we can come and see some of the medium preparation. Again, if we go out to, we got to click learn more here. You know, so this one will tell us education or the type of training. You can even search. So within Alabama, where you might find a credential provider or education training provider that where you can find the credentials necessary for that particular job. All right. So I think that is all I had for today. Again, can't stress enough of the importance and value that the Alabama Talent Triad is going to have for your students, their families, you and your families, every Alabamian. It truly is a citizen level solution, and also for every employer. I didn't mention as well, but another way you could be an advocate is if you do work with some employer partners, or maybe you own a business, I would highly recommend too, for, you know, any employer partners that you work with, or if you have a business, to sign up as an employer. Again, under the partner sign up as an employer, and get those jobs posted so that we can make that skills match happen. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. And again, this will be posted on the website if you want to come back and review anything that we talked about today. Thanks and have a great day.